I'm trying these new little connectors to solder wires together that I saw Adam Savage talking about. Uh, they're kind of unique. You don't need a soldering iron for them. You use a heat gun. I'll take the biggest one here so I can try to show you. In the center, right where my fingers are, is a band of solder. It's kind of like solder powder or something. I'm not sure what it is. And then the blue bands on either end is some hot glue. And the tube itself is shrink tubing and shrinks down to half of its size. And I got a pack here with 4 different sizes in it. Smaller and smaller. And I'm actually, using these right here, right now on the mini Skyhunter. And you use a heat gun on that solder in the center and it melts. So you just stick the wires in and cross the bare wires of each end underneath that solder and then hit it with a heat gun. I'm trying it on the rudders for the mini Skyhunter because if it doesn't make a good connection, and these small ones, I can't even tell when the solder in the middle melts. Might be my eyesight too. But I figured with 2 rudders, if one of these connections isn't good at some point, it won't cause great problems. It'll cause a little problem, but probably be noticed as soon as it's landed and stuff. I don't have a way for this camera to take a good video of these. Maybe when I'm using a bigger one at some point I'll be able to show it, but thought I'd just try these on the mini Skyhunter rudders. Oh, wait a minute. Let's see if I can hold the phone with one hand. I don't know if you'll be able to see this, but oops, put a little heat gun on that center solder. Oops. And I can sort of see solder going out right and left on the wire, but I don't see the center changing. So I'm not too sure about it. Now when I move over to the glue, yeah, I can see it starting to move out. See? And move over to the other one. And done. Is that crazy or what? So I just bought a small box of these to play with, and like I say, seeing it's dual rudder, if one of them fails, it'll just let me know not to try this anymore. But that's pretty wild, isn't it? What are they called? Solder seal wire connectors. This pack of 120 was like $10. And I imagine the bigger ones are going to work better than these really small ones, but we'll see. There's the tail boom finished for the mini Skyhunter. I got the control horns in, glued them onto the rudders, put the linkages onto the servos, and glued the rudders onto the rear assembly on both sides. Then I created my wires. That's why I was splicing those wires with those new connectors. This one has the elevator and the right rudder running through it, and the other side has the left rudder running through it. And that's it. That's pretty much finished. And the way I've got it set up, you can use a Y connector on the rudders and they'll both operate at the same time. So I'm still 4 channels. I'm getting ready to glue up the fuselage, so I've got my motor, my ESC ready. I changed up things. I put blind nuts, claw nuts on the back of the plywood for the motor mount instead of using the little wood screws. And I've got some M3 bolts to go in them. That'll let me change out a bad motor easily, and I think just overall make the mount better. I'm going to put the ESC in the bottom again, right in this area. The tray on this one isn't able to be removed like it is on the main Skyhunter, big Skyhunter. The opening in the front just doesn't allow it. It has a lip on it, and it just won't let you take that tray in and out for the equipment. So, let's see. I guess we're just about ready to glue the 2 halves. Something like that. Okay, let's do it. The mini Skyhunter fuselage is glued together in one piece. Motor's mounted. I even did a better job this time. You can see my seam isn't bulging with Gorilla Glue this time. Kind of wiped it down while it was sort of setting. Oops. Could probably use some cleanup there. Had a lot of tape there. But this time, I like my glue joints. And even the motor mount area kept oozing foam. Had to keep kind of getting it out of there and making sure it didn't set up around the motor or anything. But there's that. Again, that arch tray, whatever you want to call it, is still loose in there and slides around until I figure out where I want to put it. But there's the fuselage put together. Just have to do the couplers in the front on the wings, and that'll basically be the lion's share of the build. I'm going to have to put in the video transmitter, receiver, the electronics, etc. before I put these carbon fiber or plastic plates, whatever they are. They go on the bottom of the wing to strengthen it. But the wires for all the video transmitter, receiver, servos, and everything has to go underneath them. So the build is 90% complete. Well, I don't have the front booms glued to the wings, but that's the way it should be. Just dry fitting before gluing that up. If you look at it from the bottom, there's servo, one rudder, here's another servo, aileron, here's the other rudder, here's the elevator in the back. Those are all ready to come. Some of them have to have, the ailerons have to have a little extension put on both of them. They're not quite long enough. But then the wires for the transmitter, video transmitter, have to come in, and the RC receiver have to come in. And then these 2 plates, let's see, go on like that and are glued down. But like I say, all those wires showing right there have to go underneath those plates. And also it looks to me like, well, maybe the video transmitter and receiver don't Yeah, I don't think they do. They'll come over, probably go in here in front of that. So might be able to finish that up tomorrow, get those where I want them, but don't want to make this too complete until I do get to put in the video transmitter and RC receiver. Just working with a piece this big would just be bulky, awkward. I just want to work with each wing half while I'm putting the video transmitter and receiver together. I want to work with them as much smaller pieces like this is all I have to be working with while I do the video transmitter or the receiver. So as much as basically could be done on this is done on it for a while. The installation of the electronics is gonna slow everything down now. The physical model is 90% complete. Thank you guys.